I'm going to introduce you to our next segment, which is a workshop on how to understand your biases and stop being played by technology. The workshop is by Shweta Bhandral. Shweta is a career counselor. She's a journalist, an educator, a media literacy and news verification trainer. She's been the founding team member of 2 national news channels and produced and anchored various TV shows. Her company, the Future Skills Company, aims to empower the Gen Next with skills to follow their hearts. Shweta is also a Google News Initiative India Network trainer and will be teaching us a thing or two about recognizing fake news and the tricks that social media algorithms play on our minds. Over to you, Shweta.
So much, Manvi, and what a brilliant session it has been, the last one and yesterday. And there have been several statements that have been made, by different, by all our panelists who have been around. I've picked up a few. I've been taking notes all this while. We had Ritu Khandelwal who said heritage doesn't have boundaries. Reena Saini-Kala spoke about how craft, there are common values in craft. She also spoke about blind spots that we have, which enable us to actually bridge the basic gap. And we can't think about, anything beyond that blind spot that we have. And today, the session in the morning spoke a lot about how media impacts what we think and how, on both sides, there's a lot of role that media plays in terms of how our youth today is thinking about people in both the countries. eShe spoke about we don't believe in news in ISEC, and we always have somebody to kind of confirm that news from, which is brilliant. And Tuba also said something like people do not like to read. So keeping all these things in mind and actually just throwing a little bit of light on all this is that what has happened over past 2-3 years or past, say, half a decade, 5 years maybe, it is a lot, because a lot of it is because of social media. A lot of it is because it has been escalated beyond the control of anybody, for that matter. And people are absolutely free to say whatever they want to say on those mediums, and that is because everyone has become a publisher. Media earlier was journalism was all about verifying news, checking it, rechecking it, and then putting it forward, in front of people, and or giving it or sharing it. But now, over past few years, and because of social media, every one of us has become a publisher. We have a printing press in our hand. We just have to click a picture and write something with it. Or there are people, obviously, with that, there are earning opportunities that have come up. There is propaganda, there is partisanship. A lot is playing right now. So very quickly, I'm going to share my screen with you all and talk about, there are technical changes. There are things that we can do in terms of, in terms of learn the technology and how to verify news. That is a very simple thing, and we will do at the end of this session. I'll try and show you one simple search that anybody can do anywhere on Google, and there are lots, thank God, जैसे जैसे कोई चीज खराब होती है या जैसे जैसे situations खराब होती हैं, उसका counter definitely आता है. And over the years, what has happened is, along with all that media frenzy and all that fake news, so to say, or misinformation or disinformation is what we call it. There are lots of agencies, lots of digital platforms who are doing a 24/7 fact checking of every incident that is happening, or of every viral video that goes out there. But what is it that make us believe in these things? Where is it that we can stop it? Where is it that we can put our check? And, especially when we're talking about, talking about peace, we're talking about freedom at various levels in terms of thought processes. We are talking about, talking about building relationships humanity, because that is what has happened over the years. I believe we are in a phase where we are lowest in terms of our emotional intelligence. There is complete lack of empathy, and that there is no thought process in terms of whether everybody has a very solid mindset and a blind spot there where they're not ready to think or even give a little moment of a little tiny 1 second of thought before saying anything that they are saying. So why does this happen? This happens because we have the strongest bias that we have. There are 75 biases if you will search Wikipedia. We'll talk about only one today, which is confirmation bias. This is favoring of information that confirms our existing beliefs that we have grown up with. 70 years hence, I have only heard stories of my grandparents being from Sialkot, from Lahore, and I still have that weird sense of belonging. And and in the back of my head, when anybody talks about war, talks about anything else, I really kind of shrug that thought and say, why? But I know there are people who are not connected to across the border with anybody like that, and they have their own preconceived notions. Their families have taught them different things. Kirti was talking about class 6 students, and interacting with them on this issue and asking them to paint and draw somebody from Pakistan. We've had these issues of late, and it was so it was disturbing. I had to actually get onto my, I went to my daughter's school and I told that teacher that this is what is happening in your class 2 or class 3, and she was so right that anybody who was fighting, and they would say, oh, to Pakistan chale ja. So that kind of language which our children are speaking, I don't know, we can definitely, we are, the power is with us. We can do that change. Plus, and for that change, we have to start working on our own biases first. And the first bias that we need to really, really work on is this confirmation bias, where we are always emotionally charged. We are always deeply entrenched in those political and religious beliefs, and we are not ready to figure out our blind spot and think beyond that blind spot. So test yourself for biases. How do you do that? Take a piece of paper, write your assumptions, your beliefs. How do you look at a piece of news and you start concluding things on it? Decisions that you're making on the basis of that piece of news, emotion that it triggers inside you. All this A, B, C, D, E, they distort our perception. They limit our options while we respond to a situation in an incident, or anything that's happening around us. And this is what all the people who are creating misinformation and disinformation are feeding on. This is what they have in mind. They know that there are assumptions that are there are beliefs that people have. They will draw a conclusion. They want you to make a decision on that particular thing, and they're triggering your emotion. So we need to kind of figure out, test yourself for these biases. This is the first thing that everyone can do, and especially our youth. If we start doing this, and I've done this with quite a few sessions in our in various institutes here in Delhi and in Bombay, and there's so many times that people don't even realize. There are kids who would come and say that, oh, I never knew I believed this, or there was this is the basis on which I'm making a decision. So there are some biases which could be positive. I'm not saying, because bias is a very natural thing. It's a very human thing to have. So somebody would say that I should have a bias for eating healthy food. It will be a good bias for me. Definitely, it will be. But there are some biases which are not so good. And favoritism, leaning, preferences, this is a list that all of you can read here. All this preconceptions, unfairness, our prejudices, the spin that news channels or, our media or people on social media who are doing it, who are spreading misinformation and disinformation just for their own purposes, are spinning every bit of news piece that you have, that you see there. They're spinning it from their angle. They're spinning it because they want a particular kind of reaction from you on that news piece. So all this leads to intolerance, narrow-mindedness, bigotry, and rigidity that we've been talking about. When you've tested yourself, you also need to understand that there are, how do we operate? How are these, social media handles operating? The more we like people, whatever we like, whatever we believe in, whatever ideas we have, we start liking those similar kind of ideas, similar kind of information, similar kind of beliefs. And when we like all that thing, brands, news, everything, there is a filter bubble that we are forming. Facebook पे बहुत आसानी से आपको दिखेगा. If you have 500 friends on Facebook, but you will only see in your page on a given at a given point in time only people who you are continuously liking, people who are having similar beliefs, who are talking about similar ideas. So we need to kind of break this algorithm. And this algorithm is taken forward. Filter bubble is just one beginning bit. You can see it on YouTube, the kind of suggestions that you will keep getting. You can break that algorithm on YouTube by testing it for liking things that you have never liked before and looking at absolutely different things, searching people and liking them on various platforms. You will see how the recommendations will change. Filter bubble se aage nikalta hai echo chamber, which is even a tighter space, and this is obviously when the communities are built. Facebook community ho gayi, ya WhatsApp pe communities ho gayi. This is taking the filter bubble thought much more ahead and just interacting with those people who have these, existing, who are just kind of liking and confirming your existing beliefs and opinion or reinforcing them. So you're working in that same thing, and most of the troll armies work like that. And how do you improve your critical thinking abilities? Just a few tips right here. Lateral reading. Lateral reading means you have to read a lot and you have to read different things. Don't read anything from one source. If you've got a news piece which you've picked up from Facebook or Twitter or a news portal, read the same news piece in at least 2 or 3 more papers, and if you have, there is who's behind the information, you need to figure out why are they sharing this information now with you? What is the evidence? Ask these questions. Is there a personal or a political motive behind sharing this information? Understand the medium it is used to spread the info. Travel and meet more people. These are some things that you can do actually to improve your critical thinking and eventually your creativity, the art, the culture that we're talking about, with which we're talking about all the, bridging all the gaps will also happen, because, the more open your mind is, the more, the more open you are to different cultures, to look at what's happening beyond your restricted, your limited view, Going ahead, just a little bit in terms of how the troll works. Basically, there are lots of imposter accounts that are there. There are lots of like there are filter bubbles and echo chambers in on YouTube, on Twitter, and on Facebook and Instagram also. There is a troll army that works on specifically on Twitter a lot, and they are mostly imposter accounts. They are new accounts that are created the moment an incident has happened. Most of the times you will not even they change their handle names regularly. After any specific news event, they delete the past activity of that account, frequently change their identity, and they can be potentially paid trolls propaganda for a strong agenda. So there's always a propaganda, there's some agenda behind trolling. So that is what, that is how they work. And a lot of trolling has been happening since Twitter has come, into our lives. Basic fact checking that all of us can do, very simple. There are simple keyword searches that you can do. especially for, when you're looking at a troll account, what you can actually do is, if there's someone trolling you, have a look at that person's account, see whether that account has some kind of spelling mistake. Is there a real picture there? Look at the number of followers. You will instantly figure out that this person has no, there's no value of whatever that person is saying anywhere. There might be some people who are driving this, who might have lots of followers. And the best thing is to, you know that there is, then you get to know that you see who they follow. Then you figure out that there is an agenda behind it. So that is the max that you can do when something like that is happening to you. In general, when you see there is some kind of propaganda being shared a lot and made viral, these three questions are absolutely necessary. Ask them, again and again, in terms of why is this information being shared today. There are two basic searches that we can do. I will quickly, share my screen with you again, my Google search screen, and show you how fact-checking agencies are really kind of trying to break this, or make an intervention in this world of misinformation and disinformation that we are living in today. And again, quoting eShe here, you should not believe on any news first, the moment it's given to you. The first piece of news should always, always, always be checked, verified by other sources. And these other sources are definitely other platforms, people, anybody you can get hold of, experts in terms of, any kind of technical information or medical information. So as much, unless and until you verify this, any piece of news that you have, you should not kind of believe it definitely. Simple keyword search, कोई भी खबर आपके पास आई है, वीडियो है, फोटो है, उसको उठाइए और उसमें से कुछ keywords निकालिए और उनको normal Google search करिए. It will give you a lot of, already जो भी चीज viral होगी उसका already you will have a fact check. World over there are fact checking agencies who are working and on this. Then there is Google reverse image search, which is another simple thing. If you have an image, save that image on your laptop and do a Google reverse image search. I'll show you how to do that. Another platform that is really good at searching is Yandex, which is the Russian search engine. So it gives fantastic results to us a lot of times. I will show you a simple search.
I never thought of you as the kind of person who'll have a pink Google screen, Shweta.
That's my daughter shares my laptop, so she keeps changing the color every day, and today the color is pink.
It's a good color. It's a good color.
Yeah. So if you can see this, just a second. If you can see images here, we click on images. We all know how to do a normal Google keyword search, so I'm not getting into that. I'm just showing you this search by image. So if we search by image, you get this kind of a box where you either you can drop an image here or you can upload an image or paste a URL. So normally, as a fact checker, we put the image, we save the image in our laptop, and then we search. So upload an image. I'm going to be choosing a file that I've already saved in my folder. So this is an image of Sudha Murthy. And this was very recent, where Sudha Murthy's image came in as she was selling, that she's selling vegetables because to kind of do away with her ego and ahankar. And a lot of people believed in that tweet. It was harmless though, but I've purposely picked up this harmless tweet because it very clearly tells us about the bias that I'm talking about, the confirmation bias that we all have in our heads. We believed this thing, or lots of people believed that Sudha Murthy could be selling vegetables to, get rid of her ahankar and ego, because we know of Sudha Murthy and Narayan Murthy as humble people, as very in spite of the fact that they are they own Infosys or etc. They are humble. They live a very, very decent, very, very limited life, in terms of living. So I have picked up this thing and see the results that it has given me. The moment I put it and I have my keywords here, Sudha Murthy selling vegetables. You just, sometimes Google might not give you these exact keywords. You will have to change those keywords a lot of times. So you see the results here. All the articles who have already they've done a fact check on this. Sudha Murthy vegetable she's not selling. Seen viral image of Sudha Murthy not selling. So she was actually picking up vegetables to give it for a langar that was there. There's even a YouTube video that has been made on this and being shared. So we can very clearly see that if I click on this image here, these are all your related search that it gives you. And if I click on images again, with this, just the keywords, I get lots of other images and even the tweet, the original tweet that was shared. How Sudha Murthy is selling vegetable, and then lots of people telling us fake. So it's as simple as this, anything that you get, just do a simple Google search or search it on Yandex, if you have a picture, and there's always an agenda, there's always a motive behind doing anything. This was a harmless kind of tweet that went viral, which I shared with you. And but there are, on a daily basis, a lot more harmful stuff is being shared, and people, the mindsets are being played. In fact, very recently there was a poster that we came across, which was talking about Padma Awards, and there were pictures of Padma Awards being given in Congress Raj and Padma Awards being given in BJP Raj, and very simply they had picked up entertainment for the Congress Sarkar, and only socially relevant people from these last years. So the thing is that we don't really know a lot about a lot of things, and especially like Sadia was also saying, that when we are talking about all these things, we are talking about them from a standpoint of being privileged. We need to understand that why do people believe what they believe when they see a particular a particular picture or a particular video. They have these biases, and we have to, all of us, if we start working from this grassroots level, from actually with the aim of inculcating that idea of humanity, peace, empathy, making them understand about diversity. This is then it will be much better, and we'll be able to handle whatever news is coming, and we'll not be saying that media is the one who's basically responsible for everything that's wrong around us. There's a big role that media plays and journalism plays in it, and I wouldn't say at all that I wouldn't give them a clean sheet at all, because I know where they've faulted badly, but it's our responsibility. Each one of us needs to be a fact checker. Each one of us need to kind of look into our biases and blind spots and move beyond all this.